Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. American Idol Season 5 champion Taylor Hicks is releasing his first new music in 14 years with his brand new single, Teach Me to Dance. He joined me to discuss his upcoming album, Porch Swing, as well as his memories of winning American Idol and his thoughts on Ryan Seacrest becoming the new host of Wheel of Fortune.
Hey, what's going on, Jason? How are you, bud?
Good. Hey, thanks for taking the time to join us on WTOP in DC.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great talking.
Where are you calling us from?
Birmingham, Alabama right now.
And I know that's where you grew up. So that's awesome. Coming full circle. All right. Well, we've got to tell everyone the reason we're talking is because you have a new single out, Teach Me to Dance, and it's on the upcoming album Porch Swing, which is coming up, I guess, hopefully this fall. We'll keep everyone posted. Tell me about the new single, Teach Me to Dance. I know that it was released on Father's Day, but it's good for any time of year, right? People should pick it up even now.
Well, I think so. It's when I think of this song, it was a song that was actually written, and Garth Brooks really enjoyed the song. He wanted to record it back in the day, and he never cut it. And Victoria Shaw and I were writing together. Victoria is one of the writers on it. She went downstairs and she pulled it up, and it was actually on CD, believe it or not. That's how long ago it was. It was when she actually played it for me. I just fell in love with it. I figured it was, if Garth liked it, then I knew we were on to something, and it was a wonderful concept, and being able to produce it the way I wanted to. Obviously, with the twin fiddles, it was an amazing opportunity to get to record that, and I've just enjoyed releasing it.
Oh, yeah. And we should remind everyone, you mentioned Victoria Shaw, songwriter. She wrote The River for Garth Brooks off of Rope in the Wind. And I Love the Way You Love Me from John Michael Montgomery. I mean, she's one of the great country songwriters of the last, 30 years or something. And the fact that Garth wanted to thought about doing Teach Me to Dance. Maybe it's because he already had one called The Dance. I don't know why it never I never cut it, but his loss is your gain, baby.
That's very true. And that's kind of how it happens in the songwriting world, and especially when different artists cut different songs. This was a song that was just, I just loved the concept, and obviously, I could see it being performed at a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
I personally think the song rivals "I Hope You Dance" by Leanne Womack. That kind of. I think it could be a career song for me, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh, I mean, I Hope You Dance is one of those great, father, daughter, mother, son dance kind of a songs. And this Teach Me to Dance could be just that. I think you're right. It's sort of that same genre. Or what was Rascal Flatts? My Wish for You? I mean, those songs become eternal. They'll be played for generations at weddings to come. All right. Well, tell me about the overall album then, Porch Swing. I know it's I guess it's not out yet, right? Are you aiming for the fall?
I'm aiming for the fall, but probably early spring. I've got all the music. The music was recorded at Zach Brown's studio in Nashville.
Oh, nice.
He's got an old gospel church in Nashville that's just a really great space to record music at. I've been recording there off and on for about 10 years. And it was just, that's right now. It's kind of the perfect time to start releasing music. I mean, the first of the year, obviously, Porch Swing came out with the help of Bobby Bones and the Bobby Bones Show. They wanted to hear some new music, and so kind of the ball's rolling. So this is kind of the idea is to release a couple of more songs and maybe do a little bit of a Christmas thing, and then release the whole album in the spring.
Sounds like a plan, man. And you mentioned you dropped Porch Swing first in Bobby Bones Show. Didn't you also sing it on TV on the Kelly Clarkson Show? Your first official single release in 14 years or something like that, I think. But to do it on, to sing it on Kelly, that's That's kind of ironic or fitting, but former idols give her giving you the stage to show the new work. That's pretty cool on her part.
Yeah, Ryan, Seacrest was on that show too, so it's kind of like a little bit of an idol reunion.
Nice.
Kudos to him for getting the Wheel of Fortune gig. By the way,
yeah, they just announced that today.
Ryan. Yeah, Ryan doesn't ever take no for an answer. I mean, that's a fitting thing for him. But a lot of people, that show you could probably tape 3 Wheel of Fortunes. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan takes 4 or 5 Wheel of Fortune shows in a day. He's just that kind of a machine. But an idol reunion for sure. I love Kelly's been such a sweet person and a big fan over the years. That was a surreal moment for me, and to be able to go on her show and release that was a blessing.
That you hit the nail on the head. That Seacrest is a machine. He basically is Regis Philbin in the morning, Casey Kasem throughout the day, Dick Clark during New Year's, and now he's Pat Sajak. Plus he hosts Idol. Like, he's all of those big titans from the past all rolled into one. I don't know how he sleeps, but anyway.
Yeah, it's just pretty amazing. Pretty amazing dude.
Pretty amazing. Well, you're an amazing dude yourself, and I want to hear how your amazing dudedom began back. I know you were born in Birmingham, Alabama in 76. What all did you listen to growing up? I mean, in Idol, we saw all your soul and blues, harmonica, and all that stuff, but when did you first pick up that harmonica, or what sort of bands did you listen to? I want to know, like, sort of how you got bit by the bug.
So Ray Charles was kind of the musical genius, the musical mentor for me. I mean, I listened to a lot of Ray Charles growing up. Then it kind of split off into Van Morrison and into Marvin Gaye a little bit. And then, just kind of all as the instruments that I was learning was guitar, harmonica, that kind of fit the Bob Seger, Van Morrison mold. And then kind of, graduated with a little bit of piano, kind of went into Marvin Gaye. But I would say Ray Charles is the root of the musical tree.
I love it. That's a great musical tree to grow out of. And then, I want remind our listeners sort of that period before Idol came along. Remind them what you were doing. Didn't you go to Nashville briefly and come back? You had cut a couple like independent albums or something like that. You were, touring around playing various gigs and stuff. But yeah, set the scene, before Idol comes along. What was Taylor Hicks doing musically?
I was playing music, probably 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, I was traveling a lot. Did have a couple of albums out. Spent a little bit of time in Nashville. You got to really be in Nashville. Nashville's a really 10-year town, they say, and it takes a lot of that. It takes a being there and being present to win. I've lived in Nashville off and on now since I was about 23. So, Nashville is a wonderful place to live, to create, to network. And, that's something that you just can't take no for an answer, and you got to play as much as you can.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad that you finally got your big break. How did you hear, how did the audition for season 5 of American Idol come about? Didn't you auditioned was it in Vegas, I think? Like, where how did you hear about it and say, I'm actually going to take this leap and give it a try?
Well, Hurricane Katrina, I was the last taxi cab ride out of Katrina. And I got to West Monroe, Louisiana, and fled the storm. And on the way back, rented a car to Birmingham, and then Southwest canceled my flight, flew to Vegas on a whim, got to Vegas at like 12:30 at night, and then at 3:30 in the morning, Idol tryouts happened at the Vegas Convention Center. So it was kind of by way of Hurricane Katrina that I got into the audition line for Las Vegas.
I love it. And remind us about that big audition too, at least in front of the main judges. Was it Paula and Randy liked you, but Simon wasn't sure at first? I'm trying to remember how that first one went.
Yeah, you can't have them all like you. I mean, and to be honest with you, nowadays I think the judges are too easy on the contestants.
Yeah, I don't know. Simon was a hard ass, man.
I don't know whether you have to be politically correct these days. Like, you've got to be nice to, it's the entertainment business. Some people just can't sing, and that's something that I think that these days, being a judge, I think they need to be a little bit more critical, to be honest. I mean, look, I think we all grew up, in an age where, your parents kind of told you like it is. And especially in entertainment, you need some constructive criticism. Yeah, Simon was definitely not on board, but, he usually gets on board when you win the show.
Oh, you won him over. See, but a little, like you're saying, a little tough love never hurt nobody. You need some constructive criticism, and it made you better. How did you pick? I always remember one of those first
I
ones.
think it also was better. I think it's also better for ratings.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I think the ratings. Tough love. On American Idol sold. From all of the judges, and I think nowadays it's too much of a love fest.
You need a little conflict, a little drama, or just the truth, the realism. Not you can't just pat everyone on the back and say good job. You want people pushing you. How did you choose Levon? I remember. I mean, I'm just thinking when you're talking about "Teach Me to Dance," fatherhood themes like that, and Levon was, calls his child Jesus. He shall be a good man. I think you might have introduced a whole new generation of young viewers to that Elton John masterpiece. How did you decide to go with it? It's a great song.
I mean, look, it was a song that you want to pick songs that are extremely popular. You want to, pick great songs, and, I mean, A&R in that run was, not an easy thing to do, but I always pick songs that people could sing, and that one was one of them. It was a great one by Elton, and I was, stoked to move week by week and ultimately win.
Yeah, speaking of week by week and winning, the list of people you beat is like a who's who of Idol history. Chris Daughtry got knocked out, Kelly Pickler, Bucky Covington, and of course, Catherine McPhee in the finals. Like, do you look back, and this is probably one of the last Idol questions, I promise. I want to get into what you've done since, but, but in hindsight, do you look back and say, man, we had a damn good class that year?
Yeah, I'm partial to my class. I mean, season 5 was, ultimately, winning that show at that time was, something that I'll always be, forever indebted to. Idol's been great, was a great launching pad for us, and, for the contestants and the people that I was on the show with. It was a testament to the talent, because, we're all kind of still in the business. I'm very, very blessed to be able to say that I was able to win that show at the time that I did.
What's it like, final one on Idol, when you hear Seacrest mention your name and, the confetti flies, you sing the coronation song, Do I Make You Proud, all that stuff. But if you can rewind in your mind, close your eyes to that moment when you don't know who they're going to say. And then they say, was part of you thinking they're going to say Catherine McPhee, and then you hear Taylor Hicks, and like, what is that moment? Do you feel like your like stomach drop out? Is it like a roller coaster? Does your mind go blank? What's it like?
Well, it's you just understand that you have a good chance at being in entertainment for a long time. I mean, I'm 20 years coming up 20 years on show business.
Yeah.
It's a testament to being able to hard work that you put in to keep going, and just you've just got to be thankful that you get these opportunities. Winning that show was definitely, the press that was built around the time, the press that was built around the winner and the runner-up was massive in comparison to, to the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. So you always want to win. Winning that show was major because it was the way that they built the press around it.
And especially at that time too. I mean, you're only 5 seasons in at that point. It was like the number one show on TV. It's a phenomenon. Whereas, not to take away from any of the winners nowadays, they're all talented and everything, but I don't know how many dozens of seasons we're in now, and there's so many spinoff shows and whatever. It doesn't have quite the media blitz that attached to it as when you did. I mean, that was like the early seasons, so that was a rocket ship strapped to you that took off. Memories of putting together that first album, really quick, the self-titled Taylor Hicks album. 2006. We all remember like Heaven Knows and songs like that. But did you have a good experience putting that together?
Loved it. That was kind of really truly my first foray into, the album business of, of the making of the record all the way from, the radio promotions to, it was a really, exciting and, uh, fulfilling, journey to be able to go from in such a short amount of time, go from a just the writing of the record and then the releasing of the record and what you do to release it. So it was to be able to be on Arista and J Records and with Clive running the show. That was really really neat experience.
Oh yeah, Arista Records, Clive Davis, needs no introduction, a legend. And then didn't you have to and then I guess compare that to the second one, The Distance, the second album with What's Right Is Right and songs like that. We'll remember. Like, what did you self-produce that, or you created your own label to make that, or something like that? Wasn't it? So it was a slightly different experience than the whole Clive deal, right?
Interestingly enough, at that time, I thought it was just important for me to start my own label and release music, and I think a lot of people do that these days. Whether you're on a big, distribution company, a lot of artists release their own, records under their own label, and uh, it was just timing. Now, would I be on another label? Possibly, but just timing wise, starting that for me was very important.
For sure. And then in addition to those two early albums, they kind of opened the doors to a lot of different things. Like I think you did like a Vegas residency, you wrote a memoir, A Heart Full of Soul, and you even did a little Broadway, some Teen Angel in the national tour of Greece. Just talk about, how other avenues started opening up you probably never thought you'd be a published author or a Broadway star, and here you are. Was it fun getting to branch out and do kind of other stuff, other mediums?
Yes, that was, I didn't realize that at the time, but winning that a show like that, you kind of just think, well, I'm going to be able to just, do music, tour the record, yada yada yada. But instead, it opened up a lot of doors that I didn't really think would open. From the Broadway show to some hosting television, But for me, I think having wanting to get into all different sides of the business and learning, it was an amazing launch pad. Idol was to be able to go those kinds of avenues, if you choose. Again, that's the important thing about winning.
Absolutely. Well, you've been really generous with your time. Let's final seconds bring it all the way full circle it back around to the new album. Then, I mean, I think I mentioned at the top that Porch Swing was like your first official single release in like 14 years. What have you been up to in that time, or why do you think you waited? Like, why is now the right time to get this album together and put it out? Why make us wait, and why is it going to be worth it, baby?
It's the timing. I've had the record in the can for a while now. It's produced. And I was just kind of waiting for the right moment in time to start releasing music. It's just timing. I mean, Bobby Bones, him kind of intervening and wanting me to come on the show early in the year to talk about Idol and new music. I mean, look, it can't stay in the can forever. So the beginning of the year is kind of the windfall that started it. And I'm going to release more, and excited about releasing the new record.
What do we know? Any other what other singles are going to be coming up soon? Or I guess we're just going to have to stay tuned, huh?
Yeah, I think for now it's definitely Teach Me to Dance. All the focus is on teaching me to dance, and trying to put that into some playlists and getting working that single. That's the focus right now.
All right, you hear that, folks? Start playing "Teach Me to Dance" at your weddings all this summer, or your graduation parties, whatever you got. Start playing it. Get it in rotation this summer. All right. Hey, Taylor Hicks, thank you so much for joining us. It's so much fun getting to catch up with you.
Hey, thanks so much for the interview. Loved it. As soon as some more music comes out, we're gonna we're going to definitely contact each other again, Jason, and always a pleasure to talk to you, buddy.
Absolutely. Best of luck with the rollout of this whole album. We can't wait for the rest.
Okay, buddy. Thanks, Jace.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.